Welcome back to Visions. When it comes to African Americans in film, we found a local man who's on a mission to preserve history, and he's doing it right inside his home in Mount Airy.
I try to get my hands on every single thing dealing with black film prior to 1960.
Larry Richards has amassed quite a collection of posters, photos, and hundreds of rare African American features, soundies, documentaries, and short films. Symphony in Black features a young, uncredited Billie Holiday with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. These films are historic treasures, but they also remind us of a painful past.
I like to collect before 1960 because it's a much rarer history, less known history. Most people know about the 60s, the exploitation movies of the 70s and so forth. You see books and a lot of things written about it, and a lot of people were around to experience it. But I've discovered that the films prior to 1960, the people that were around to experience it don't want to talk about it. It was a lot more overt racism involved, and people try to forget things. And when I would ask someone, an older person, about these films or some of its history, it was either I don't remember, I don't want to talk about it, so I had to go out and do my own research.
I want a brown gown with a lock top with a hip slip, a lace waist in the shopping.
This 1941 soundie, a forerunner to music videos, features a young Dorothy Dandridge. It is just part of a collection of pre-1960 movies that explain early star struggles that seem unbelievable today.
The history, I feel so proud of the history of what people had to go through to perform, to do their love, perform their love, to, you know, the actors and actresses from the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s. You can imagine performing in places where they were wanted. To have a museum or to be able to show stuff and to be able to talk about, you know, their struggles, but yet their achievements, you know, and successes as well, because it was such a struggle. I get choked up every time I think about it, because it was, you know, people think it's tough now, and it was real tough back then. You know, even people, you know, like Freddie Washington, who played in Imitation of Life, the first version of Imitation of Life. She used to travel with the Duke Ellington band and stuff, and they would park the bus a block away from the ice cream parlor, and then she would go in the ice cream parlor and buy ice cream for everybody because she looked white. And they couldn't get ice cream because they wouldn't serve coloreds.
And when Scar of Shame was shot here by the Colored Players Film Corporation, Philadelphia rivaled Hollywood as a big-time production center.
In the early 20s, during the silent era, the African-American films made during the silent era, not just in Philadelphia but nationally, were just as comparable as Hollywood films. Excellent films. Philadelphia actually had about 9 companies here. In fact, if you were to go down on Vine Street, not just black film companies, but all film companies, Vine Street for several blocks, every single building, both sides of the street were film companies. Philadelphia had one of the largest black film distributing companies here in the city.
Larry deftly puts in perspective why some black actors sometimes played stereotypical and controversial roles.
The actors and actresses, the roles they play, there are actresses who said, I will not do that. Nina Horn would, I will not play a certain role. And that's fantastic, you know, but she could sing. And that was great. But many actors and actresses had to work, you know, which is one reason why race films were invented, so to speak. You know, after the birth of a nation, something had to be done. I mean, let's face it, after that fabulous movie came out in 1915, something had to be done for blacks to be able to work and not be buffooned.
For more information about Larry Richards' unique collection, click on 6abc.com.